Right, gents, welcome to video tutorial number 2 of this isometric model. In this video, we're going to create the layout. But before we do that, we're going to add layers. Another layer to this drawing, and that's going to be by means of by way of a center line. So I'm going to go to layer properties very quickly. We weren't going to do this. We were going to actually do this in the layout space, but I think it would be better, in fact, in hindsight, to go and construct it here. So we're going to create layers. Another layer, sorry. We're going to go in this space under name. We're going to right click and go new layer, and I'm going to call this center or centers, whatever, it's up to you, or center line. I'm just going to say center. It's easy. I don't have to write too much. I'm going to change the color of the center line marking to red. I'm going to then change the line weight to ensure the line weight is sitting at 0.05. Great. And then the line type, we know we're going to click on a line type, continuous. And we're going to go load line type, and we want to look for center. So we're going to scroll down to center. There it is. And we're going to click OK. Right? So we're going to click on center again and say OK, and it should then create a layer that is red at 0.5 line weight with a line type of being a center marking. So we're going to go ahead and add center markings to this drawing. And what I'm going to do is click my line command, but before I do that, I'm going to drop down and click centers. Now I'm ready to draw. I'm ready to draw with that layer activated. So I'm going to go find the center, either of the circle or the center of the square here, which should be, you can see if I hover over both halfway points on the adjacent edges, there it is. It should give us a center in the middle, which is about there. But before I do that, you can see that my cursor is sitting in the wrong position. I need to get it horizontal. That's it. I'm surprised it's not letting me do that off the circle. But there it is there. If I hover on the outside, you can see at the bottom corner of the square there, it highlights a midpoint or a center point. Right, so if I highlight over there, there it is. The center point sits on that line over there, on that bottom corner. So I'm going to then go, and if an alternative way to find the center marking, like I said, is to go and get the two adjacent sides and then hover into the middle, and it'll find that center point for you. So to get that center marking, I'm going to just run it a little bit past either end. So you'll see that I'm happy with that, that distance beyond this, and it is 45. So I'm going to come this way, and I'm going to go this direction, and I'm going to add 45, enter. So I went 45 off the center to the top, to the right, 45 down to the left. I'm going to do that from this end as well. I'm going to go out that way. We'll go out that way, 45, enter. And then I'll click on that line and extend it from the side, 45, and enter. Now, the only thing is here is my line type scale is not so great. You can see it's very small and it's hard to see the center marking. So what I'm going to do is highlight both, type in MO for properties. I'm then going to go to my line type scale and bump it up a little bit. I'm going to look at around 15. You might not need 15. Yours might be perfect. Now I'm happy with that. That gives me enough indication of center lines if I look at the convention. Now I'm going to go to my layout. This is where we're going to create the PDF. Now you'll see that we've got a big model view window in front of you with the object, and what we're going to do here is we're going to click on the model view window and delete it, because I want to take you step by step how we get there. So we're going to go to layout, and we're going to right click on the tab, and we're going to go to page setup manager. What we first want to do is go to modify, and then starting from the top at plotter name, we want to go to DWG to PDF. We're going to go with A4 because this isn't a big model. So we're going to go A4 297 by 210. That gives us a nice landscape. Make sure that landscape is highlighted. We're then going to go to extents because we want to maximize the page width. Right. Then we're going to center the plot, and then we're going to ensure that we're using a 1:1 scale, and we're going to go OK. Now you'll see that there's a dotted line around the outside. That is the extents on the page to which you can construct or add information. Nothing will be printed beyond that border. So now we're going to type in the command mview, which is a model view. And what this does is it takes the model from your model tab and it brings it into this space here. So I'm going to open it up to the left because I want to create a little drawing block at the bottom here, a title block. I'm going to click on that, and you can see that the scale is incorrect. There's no way that that's how big it is on an A4 page. So I'm going to drop down over here, and I'm going to go 1:1. Now this is a 1:1 scale on an A4 page. All right. I'm then going to click on the border. I'm going to go by layer and make it white so that I don't have it seen on the model space. All right. Now you might not be able to pick up the outline so great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to my layer properties. I'm going to go to outlines. I'm going to bump this up just a fraction to maybe a 0.0.5. Press OK. Right, and then get rid of the properties. That's much better. Now I can see that it really stands out, the outline. I'm going to highlight and move it over just a tad. Let's do that again. Right, sorry, highlight. I'm going to type move, enter. I'm going to grab the corner here and just slide it across ever so gently to about there. So let me keep my ortho snap on. There we go. So we're kind of centered of the page. I'm then going to take a rectangle command. I'm going to then create a border around the page just inside the extents. And what I'm going to do is click on that. You'll see that it's drawing on the center marking layer. So I want to change that to outlines because I want a nice thick border. All right. Now we're going to add a title block. Before we do that, we're going to add some text. So the first bit of text we're going to put in here. So you click on the text model, the text annotation, and then you go, and then you will stop or put an insertion point as to where you want to start your text. And we want to be somewhere around the bottom right hand corner. And I'm going to type in capital letters isometric model. Okay. We don't want to work in red, and you can see how small that is. So I'm going to zoom in. Okay. I'm going to zoom into there. We just want the normal. Go back to the default layer. Right. In terms of size, we're going to click on this. We're going to right click and we're going to go properties, and or you could type in MO, click in MO, enter, and that'll also take a shortcut to properties. And then I'm going to go to text height here, and I'm going to type in my text height to be about 5 because this is going to be my title. So there it is, isometric model. Perfect. What I'm going to do with this now is click on it, and I'm going to open it up so it's all on one line. I'm going to drag this down the bottom slightly, and you'll see why in a moment. Potentially maybe even out the way slightly as well. Here's where I'm going to add a title block. Now, I'm going to do the following because I think this is going to be the best way. I'm going to start by putting, again, I've got the wrong layer. I want my layer to be, in this sense, I want it to be default is fine. I'm going to go back to my rectangle command, and I'm going to just open a rectangle around isometric model until I'm happy that it's centered. Then I'm going to highlight, I'm not going to highlight the whole thing yet. I'm going to add two more details at the bottom. So I'm going to click on this writing, and I'm going to type CO to copy it, and I'm going to press enter. I'm going to grab this little part where there's a little crosshair below the eye, and I'm going to drag it straight down. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in drawn by colon, and I'm going to say my name, which would be your name in this case. Now it's too big. We don't need it that big. We don't need it size 5. So I'm going to bring this down here to at least, well, let's do it through the properties. We're going to right click properties, and I'm going to go to text height here. Just make sure that's about, let's do 3. Let's see if that's perfect. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is copy this like we did with the isometric model. We're going to click CO, enter. I'm then going to do the same thing. I'm just going to drop down, just give it a little bit of spacing, and this will be checked by, which is CHEK, check by, and that'll be your teacher's name. It'll be Mr. Mick or Mr. Quate, depending. Right, let's open that again and go check by. Right, so that'll be your educator's name, and then below that we want scale. So I'm going to go again, CO. Instead of opening up a new text command at the top here, I've got all the properties ready to go. I've got the text height how I want it, so we're just going to work with that. And then here I'm going to go scale colon, and I'm going to go 1 is to 1. Here we go, finished. Then what I want to do is continue adding borders. So I'm going to add a border around this part here. There it is. In fact, that is too small. It looks like we need to use the normal outlines because we used the normal outline earlier. Or not. Let's go back again. Right, there it is. Click, highlight, click. So we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go, I'll just copy that, CO, enter, and I'll go to this point over here, drag it down onto that point there, and drag it down again onto that point there. So click, drag, and release, and there we have a little title block. We're going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to MO4, sorry, and we want to move, so MOVE, move. Excuse me, we're going to click the bottom corner and drag it into the bottom corner of our border. And there we have it, isometric model drawn by checkbar and the scale all there. All right, at this point in time, you're ready to go. So we're just going to go to our plot at the top here, click on it, and we're going to say, okay, it's ready, all set up. You can have a preview if you want to see what it'll look like. And then if you're happy, we go ahead and print. We save it. I'm just going to save it onto my desktop. So model, save. You can save it into a file somewhere. And once you've done this, close this down and you're going to turn it in onto your team's assignment. Well done on completing your very first isometric model task on AutoCAD.